Here at the Giver Marketing Network, we don't leave you drifting out in space. We connect you to a coach who will help you build and grow your marketing business. Our process acts as a guide on how to connect with other businesses, maintain good relations, and establish a presence on the Giver Marketing Network. Each member within this collaborative group will have the opportunity to leverage your talent and influence, a true network effect. If you are looking to collaborate on more projects, welcome to the Giver Marketing Network, the most trusted and highest rated collective of specialists on the planet. Here we have a group of like-minded professionals who focus on making valuable introductions and helping each other grow by teaming up. Imagine Upwork meets a network and a coach. The talent collectively includes services like visibility and SEO, creating logos, designing websites, managing social media, outreach messaging, visual storytelling, and much more. Think of what you could do with laser-focused allies, strengthening your business while offering your talents to the entire network. Click near this video for more information.
Hey friends, welcome to the Giver Marketing Broadcast. We're here to help you increase the effectiveness and the efficiency of your marketing, communications, and media efforts. So we're going to be talking about the Giver Marketing Blueprint today. But before we begin, why did it even come about that we have a Giver Marketing Blueprint and a company called Giver Marketing? Well, I was a nonprofit leader for years, ended up buying, selling, building businesses along the way, and found that it was difficult to work with professionals in the space that would do what they say and say what they do. And so we decided to solve that problem and jumped in and started working with others who were working alongside each other, helping causes and companies doing good in the world. And here we are. We have over 100 team members that are collaborating on projects that have some kind of positive impact in the world. And so here today, we're going to be talking about the Giver Marketing Blueprint, and this is the foundation by which we help each other in the Giver Marketing Network, and it's also the foundation that we leverage to help clients maximize their results when it comes to marketing, communication, media of all types, and ultimately increasing those donations and sales and revenue along the way. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump in. Today, we're going to be talking about this guide, this blueprint, this track that you can go on to dramatically increase your results. Okay. All right. So I'm Timothy Morgan. I just shared a little bit about myself. We're going to be discussing branding, visibility, promotion, and nurturing as it relates to your organization. And remember, this is more than just leads or prospects coming through the door. This is a chance for you to have a conversation with your audience in an authentic, meaningful, and impactful way. Our mission is to bring positive attention to causes and companies doing good in the world. So if you ever work with us on any level, whether you're in the space and you want to join forces, or if you're a potential client who wants to see increase in your results, please know that our mission is to bring that positive impact to the world. We're a coaching-centric organization. That means we draw out the genius and the potential within you and your team. Whether you're in the nonprofit space or the for-profit space, coaching does produce 5x results or more in many cases. So, and we've seen it thousands and thousands of times as we've helped other organizations with their marketing, communication, media. Our tribe is the most trusted network of specialists on the planet. And you can just Google Giver Marketing Network and you'll see what I mean there. All the kind words that are flying around. Here's some good kind words that we gave on the screen as well. Core values include collaboration, results, efficiency, attitude, transparency, and energy. And so we want to make sure that that's mentioned as we begin working together. And this may be our first time together. So here we go. If you're hungry, coachable, and passionate, you're in the right place. But oftentimes we get frustrated with the marketing that doesn't produce the expected results, right? So good information plus appropriate application equals good results. And we want you to have better and better and better and results, improving that along the way, of course. Here's a tip of the cap to our friend Bob Berg. He's a great influence, not only on the name of our organization, but also just in the mindset and the approach we take to marketing, sales, and business. All things being equal, we do business with people we know, like, and trust. And little hint, we pay more to those that we respect or we see as experts in the industry. Okay. The blueprint is what we're talking about today. But after coaching and collaborating with thousands of causes and companies over the last decade or more, a pattern emerged from myself and others who were involved in these projects. And the pattern was this blueprint, this 4-step process to make sure that you dial in your marketing efforts, your communication efforts. Branding, which includes your origin story. We'll talk about that in a minute. Visibility, which allows for you to know who's trying to find you and make yourself more readily available to those who are searching for you. Promotion, which is the classic advertisements, but it's also the organic posts where you're promoting yourself. You're pushing any type of pushing of your message out. Any kind of outbound messaging really falls under promotional efforts. Nurturing, it's the process of really connecting with and reconnecting with and following up with your audience. And we have assignments or action assignments associated with each one of those today. So you can share that with your team. You can use this as action items for yourself. But before we get too deep into it, let's define marketing. Marketing is pre-sales communication. So ultimately, what you want to do when you're thinking about marketing is think, okay, this is the tail end of a process, or at least the decision making part of the process is the sales piece. So what do we do with the marketing? Like how do we set the stage for an amazing decision is really one way to look at it. So it's pre-sales communication is one definition of marketing. Of course, we're going to talk about branding, visibility, promotion, nurturing, and how that helps funnel people into a possibility of making a decision, right? And all of us go through this process where we learn some information or we're aware of a product or a service or an entity, and we start deciding pretty early whether we want to engage with the possibility of making a decision around that organization. So marketing, really, you're tracking conversations, appointments, you're tracking clicks and comments and activity and communications of all different kinds. Sales, you're tracking pretty much one thing, transactions. Did they actually make the decision? Did they say yes to the transaction? Did they say yes to the decision to work together? And that can be done in several different ways, but ultimately it comes down to one thing, and that's transactions. Okay. Very important, but we're not training on sales today. We're training on the pre-sales communication, the marketing that it takes in today's modern era in order to earn the right to have a decision meeting. Okay. So what gets you to the red zone? It's marketing. If you're thinking about American football and kind of the way the game is played, there's a section called the red zone, which is that 20 yards right before you make the touchdown, right? Or you score the touchdown. Sales is when you actually score the touchdown, when you actually jump into the end zone, if you will, right? So for all American football fans, you'll find that to be helpful. Prospecting is technically marketing, not sales. A sales meeting or a decision meeting obviously will lead to a commitment if all things are go, but prospecting itself is not sales. It's technically marketing. It's pre-sales communication. So we want to zero in on some of these definitions as we go along. All right, again, in order, say it with me, put it in the comments: branding, visibility, promotion, and nurturing. And by the way, if you have any questions along the way, put them in the comments. They help other people. They help more people see this training and this guide, but they also help you take notes and remember as well. And plus, we are able to circle back oftentimes and answer your questions in one way, shape, or form. Okay. Branding, visibility, promotion, nurturing is your roadmap for the day. And if you do this in order, you will see maximum results. If you do them out of order, you'll still see results, but they won't be as impactful. Okay. Here's a question that was posed to me and thousands and millions of others by a gentleman named Pedro Adayo. He said, "Who is your who?" And this is a big question. If we don't know who we're aiming at, then as far as a perfect client or prospect or target audience or an avatar or a persona of those who we want to work with, we're not going to have much effectiveness. We're going to be trying to serve everybody all at once, and we won't really serve anybody well. I can tell you right now that I've had the privilege personally, and many of our team members have had the privilege of working with causes and companies doing good in the world. That's kind of a psychographic, or and to some degree a spiritual graphic of who we like to work with. Generally, they have enough revenue or momentum or value that they're offering to the marketplace to where they can afford to have other team members. So that means they're generating a certain amount of revenue generally. That always goes up and as inflation happens and all that kind of a thing. But ultimately, there's a certain threshold of revenue that's needed in order to bring on other team members. And we oftentimes will work with an existing marketing team in order to make that happen. So collaboration is a big core value for us. All right. So know who your ideal customer, power partner, audience is. What emotions are you addressing? We're addressing the frustration of people having worked with marketing companies with high overhead and not seeing the results they want. We're a much more nimble, flexible, and collaborative model. So that makes for more possibilities of effective campaigns. What's the ultimate thing that they want? For us, the clients and the power partners that we work with, they want to see results. They want to see better communication and prospects and possibilities come through their front door and make themselves very clear that this is a good fit. And so that's ultimately what our clients want on this end. You can answer that for yourself, but that's our target audience, if you will, or answering the question, who is your who? All right, branding, pillar number one. When we talk about branding, if it's consistent, you'll see up to 33% increase in revenue. It's statistics that we've seen over the years, over and over and over again. If your imagery and your language is dialed in to a place where it's representing you well and you're serving the marketplace in a way that is impactful and it's significant and you're bringing value, then the increase of your brand consistency will translate to revenue and transactions like we mentioned before. Okay. So you have to get your branding dialed in. What is branding? We'll talk about that in a minute. But Michelle Van Otten says it this way: your brand represents the sum total of experiences found in the marketplace. It's all those feelings and all those experiences and thoughts and reputation pieces that come together. And she puts it very nicely here in a quote that we like to attribute to her because she said it so succinctly. Another way to look at it is if marketing is communication, your brand is how people feel when experiencing your company. Okay. We like to also bring in this quiz on a screen, this personality test on a screen, this assessment on a visually for you in this branding conversation. Are you known for being someone who brings clarity, creativity, or consistency to your prospects, to your clients, to your customers? Which one of these stands out to you? Which one of these represents you more than others? We're all a combination of all three, but one of these generally stands out the most. I tend to bring more creativity to the game personally, but then I also bring team members in that have more of the clarity and consistency part of their game dialed in. So that makes for a great team, right? So it goes to show you that it's hard to hire one person for marketing, especially, and expect everything to be at a high level. You usually need a team of 2 or 3 folks if you're going to really ramp up your marketing, communication, and media efforts. Okay. All right. So let's talk about the 5 senses. We call these the 5 senses of branding. Sensory branding is another way to put it if you want to look up and research this more. But we have 5 major senses, right? We have sight, sound, smell, taste, and touch. Ultimately, you want to evaluate those. Visually is what you're communicating, compelling but clear and understood and exciting and interesting to your audience. Is the sound clear so that people can hear you enunciate what you're saying? That's on the phone, that's in video, that's in person, that's anytime you're communicating, we want that sound to be crisp and clear as much as possible. Always improving, but you want to evaluate those 2 specifically. And then if you're in person and you're meeting at an office or a location, or we work with a lot of churches and nonprofits, if you have a place where you gather, you want it to smell good. You want the taste of the food and the snacks and everything to be kind of, or the anything that you're eating to be kind of dialed in so that it represents the quality of what they're about to experience. I don't know if you've ever walked into, say, an office building or a church and the coffee is just horrible, or the drinks are outdated, or the food is cheap, and it just doesn't reflect the quality of service that's happening shortly after or during. Touch. Hey, high fives, handshakes, hugs. Like anytime you can get it in a room at a conference or anywhere where you're gathering at a retreat or anything, you want to make sure that you're able to interact well. This is why whenever there's restrictions on how people interact, you're going to see a lower productivity level. You're going to see a lower connection level. And ultimately, we do business with people we know, like, and trust. And that's internally and externally. So we want to make sure and evaluate all 5 of those. And here's a little tip, just a hint, and it has to do with our action assignment as well. But video is up to 50 times more effective than picture or auditory experience alone. Now, there's exceptions to this rule, but if you just think about it in general, 50 times more effective, you probably want to put video into your game. Okay, so this is a big part of modern day communication. And by the way, video is becoming the expected form of communication. There's more advanced forms of communication that are happening as well. All right. What's authority branding? Authority branding is when you associate yourself with another brand that's already done a lot of the work to build trust with their audience. So we want to make sure that your brand is associated with high quality individuals, organizations, and entities that you would want to associate with. You'd say, I'm proud to be on stage with this person or this company or this entity in some way. And that goes for nonprofits or for-profits. All right, first action assignment. Are you ready? Tell the origin story. Origin story includes your background with an aha moment, why and how you help your who. Okay. So my background is I was a nonprofit leader for years, ended up buying, selling, building some businesses along the way, and found that there needed to be some people who really dialed in marketing for their clients and customers in a way that was authentic, honest, genuine, and produced a lot of results. So we formed the Giver Marketing Network. We're a type of collective that forms smaller dream teams for clients who are leading causes or companies doing good in the world. So that's a little bit of kind of my origin story. And if I had more time, I could tell you about my kids and where I grew up and a little bit more of that. But you can share an origin story in 30 seconds, a minute and a half. We like to see that 1 minute is a nice sweet spot where you can just share that anywhere. We call it your elevator story because we're oftentimes in an elevator, you don't have time to really pitch, right? So elevator pitch is fine in certain situations, but 9 times out of 10, you're wanting to share your elevator story, something that you can do within a minute. All right, so that's your action assignment. Post your origin story, your elevator story within our group, givermarketing.com/group, and that'll get you to our private group. We have folks there that you might want to do business with, partner up with, and sharing your story only allows for you to get feedback. And it also checks the box of doing this micro assignment. And it also allows for possibility of working with others in that room as well. So it's a triple positive if you can put that in the group. It is a Facebook group, and it's givermarketing.com/group. So you'll be accepted into that group. Then you'll share your origin story along with some of your other action assignments as well. But that's the first one. And by the way, don't worry about fumbling through your origin story. Just share it. Just share your story within about a minute and a half, maybe, and we'll give you some feedback, and you can always tighten that up. Okay. So your first action assignment is under the branding category, the branding pillar, and it's share your origin story. All right. If you want to know a little bit more about me as it relates to my story and my background, go ahead and shoot over to LinkedIn, or you can set up a time with me to just have a quick chat and swap stories together. Chatwithtimothy.com will get you to where you need to go on that as well. Okay. All right. Visibility. Can you be found? This is a great question for every business, every organization, every entity, every solopreneur. We call them lonelypreneurs. But as you're growing, you want to ask yourself, can people find us if they hear about us from word of mouth or referrals? And we'll get to that in a minute. But can they actually find us quickly online? I mean, we're in the age of if you can't search and find somebody in a few seconds or less, maybe they're not in business anymore. Maybe they don't take their business seriously. Maybe they're not the right company for me. Maybe they're not somebody I should work with because I just can't find them. Those are the questions that folks ask when they're reaching out to you, whether they are from the blue collar, white collar sector. It doesn't matter. People just need to be able to find you quickly. Okay. So do an incognito search for yourself. Find your, put in your first name, your industry or your sector or your space that you work in, maybe the city that you're based in, and just make sure you're coming up at least locally and regionally, if nothing else. Okay. That's a good little quick test to be able to do that. And we'll give you a more advanced tool here in a minute. Won't cost you anything to run a visibility scan. All right, so your website's a part of this. Google Business Profile, other social media platforms, industry-specific platforms. A lot of contractors will use Yelp and Nextdoor and some other platforms as well. Of course, Pinterest and TikTok are good for certain companies and organizations. There's some staples or established players in the room that you can see on the screen as well. But ultimately, this is always shifting and changing depending on what your needs are. But here's some to consider to get you started. And you want to dominate one or two of these social platforms as kind of your platform of choice. But I will say Google Business Profile is worth tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars to your company or organization long term. So you want to make sure and grab that real estate. And all of this is no cost real estate or very little cost if you're including the website itself. Okay. All right. Your free directory tool that I just mentioned earlier, go to givermarketing.com/visibility and we'll get you that assessment that we just mentioned earlier. It'll let you know where your consistency is online with the information people tend to find when they're searching for you. Okay. And so because 9 out of 10 people go online before making a buying decision in our modern era, we want to make sure that your online visibility, your information is easily found and it's consistent along the way. Okay, so that tool will help you do that. All right, and what you're looking for is consistency with Google Business Profile. So you need a physical address that's associated with Google Business Profile, and you should be able to rock that assessment fairly quickly and easily. If you have any troubles, reach out to me personally on LinkedIn or go to chatwithtimothy.com and we'll set up a time. Okay. All right. Hey, have you ever come across a company where they have like one review and it's negative, or a handful of reviews and a couple of them are like confused people online just saying whatever and they're having a bad day? Well, we want to neutralize that by getting you as many kind words online as possible. In fact, you can go to givermarketing.com/gbox and set up your own easy button, basically, for people to be able to share review or share some kind words. Google calls them reviews. We call them kind words, but it's the same thing. We want people to brag about you online easily. Okay. In fact, you can go to ours just to see how it works. Go to givermarketing.com/kind words. Say something nice on there for us. And we really appreciate that. It helps folks feel confident in that the training, the coaching, the guiding, and the teams that we put together for their efforts are doing a good job for them. And so we appreciate you mentioning something that you learned today or something that you appreciate about us by going to givermarketing.com/kind words. And by the way, might be a good idea to do something like that for your organization as well. All right, so that G box or that Google box will come up automatically and people will be able to give you some kind words quickly because of the way it's set up. Okay. Don't forget about offline visibility, your signage, your vehicles, your office spaces, where they're located, where you're meeting with clients and customers. For folks who are in the nonprofit space, where your events are, how they're visible just in general, not even online only, but physically visible to your region or to those who would want to be interested. And then you also have your online visibility, of course, we just mentioned earlier. Take that assessment. Your micro assignment is to go to givermarketing.com/visibility and then post that into post the results into the group or reach out to us and we'll be able to help you navigate that. Make sure you're extremely visible. What you're looking for is a 0 error rate on that assessment. Okay. All right. So that's branding and visibility. Let's quickly go through promotion and nurturing, and then we'll wrap up our training for the day. And this will get you going and with several action assignments to take your marketing, communication, media efforts to another level. Okay. All right. So promotion does matter. All right. So if you go and start promoting, what we do ask is that you don't spam your audience. Okay. Spamming your audience might get some small amounts of results short term, but it removes the long-term possibilities for many of your prospects. Okay. So spamming is an act of desperation. In other words, I need a client tomorrow, otherwise we're going out of business. Or we need people to donate right now, or we're going to shut the doors. This is not a healthy approach. So we don't recommend this almost ever. Like this is not unless the world's coming to an end, spamming is really not a good idea. And even then you have other problems. Okay. So there's just not a scenario where we can recommend spamming your audience. All right. So with that in mind, let's jump to what we can do. We can inform our audience, give them a call to action, engage with them in meaningful dialogue. Informing just means you're presenting information so they know that you're in business, you're available, you're bringing value to the marketplace, you're an organization doing some good, you're creating awareness. This could be mass emails, billboards, print, radio, TV. We're going to talk about some different mechanisms, online, just general posts, letting people know that you're around. Okay. Now, when we say mass emails, you better bring some value. This isn't spamming people and constantly asking them to buy, 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 buy. No, this is bringing value and awareness to the marketplace. Okay. Promotion, as it relates to call to action, if you get really good at call to action, people will take the next step. There's resources like, I'm thinking of like $100 million leads by Alex Hormozy, or there's anything from Pedro Adayo. You could just watch some of these people, and their call to action is very clear and clean and easy and beneficial and valuable. And you want to make sure your call to action isn't just, hey, call me and I'm going to try to convince you to buy something. Like, that's not a call to action, not a healthy one in today's modern era. A healthy call to action is you're calling somebody to take a next step that makes sense for them. Okay. And if it doesn't make sense for them, then that's okay. It's not the right time, or it's not the right match or fit for you. But maybe you know somebody, and that could be a call to action. So if you make sure and have your audience in mind, what's best for them, your call to action should be pretty compelling and exciting and clear, and it should be very good results as well. Engaging in dialogue as you're promoting. Think dialogue, not just monologue. Some people stay in monologue mode for too long. They don't give a clear next step, which should engage in some kind of dialogue. So ultimately, you want to inform your audience, give them a call to action, and then engage with them in that meaningful call to action that helps them take their next steps towards success. Okay. You can see different resources that we have on our website. Look under givermarketing.com under the tools section, and you'll see 7 moments. You'll see other resources, assessments that are good for you to be able to learn more about these kind of things. Of course, you want to measure your results. This is a bit of a art and a science when it comes to marketing. You want to experiment, and you want to create like an artist, but you also want to measure and track and assess your results along the way. Okay, so it's a series of meaningful creative experiments that should generate good conversation with your audience. Okay. All right. Report method: referrals, event, print, online, radio, and television, aka audio and video. We like to use alliterations here, acronyms. Report method is a good way to remember what we want to focus on in our promotional efforts. Are we trying to produce more referrals? Are we trying to produce events where people can come? Are we trying to get a lot of good print going? I'm working with a $100 million company right now where we're doing all of this. But if you're a smaller entity, you want to make sure and dial in at least referrals. And then depending on the style or type of business, you want to have some really amazing events or online complemented by some kind of audio or video experience people can have with you. Okay. All right. So referrals, make it a system. Put that in the comments if you get a chance. Make it a system. Referrals are a system. Referrals are a marketing system. So if you, one of the most common things I hear people say to me is, I don't need marketing. I rely on referrals. Okay. Tell me more about that. How do you generate more referrals next year than you had this year? How does that work? Well, I just do good work. Well, do you ask for referrals in written form, verbally? Do you ask for referrals at the end of a project? Do you ask for referrals after somebody has given a donation? Like, no matter what space you're in, how do you ask people to introduce their friends to your product, service, or experience? What's the mechanism? What's the system? How do you track it? How do you thank people for referrals? These are all really important, and you want to put about 10% of your marketing budget into some kind of referrals or power partner type of program. Okay. Affiliate programs are good about this as well. All right, events. Offer high value, whether they're online events or in-person events or hybrid events. Offer high value. Get contact information as people jump in, follow up quickly, and you should see some really good results from events. People love we're herd animals, so we love to do things together in groups and know that we're not alone. And so if you can offer high value, not only with content, but also with a relationship, events can really rock your world. Okay. Print. Look, if you get creative with it, you can get bumps like Chick-fil-A gets when they do their billboards and their print campaigns and all these, and they're doing a lot of online promotion as well. But there's certain businesses that if you get really creative on the print side, you can see a huge bump in results. Online, of course, we could spend 3 hours on just this, but look, media posts of some kind, email campaigns to just let people know that you have a pulse and you're really wanting to bring value to what they're doing. And then, of course, some digital ads along the way that makes sense. Digital ads should complement what you're already doing. They should boost or bolster or increase what's already working. Digital ads by themselves without some kind of reason or analysis or data to support those ads is really a shot in the dark. So you want your ads to basically increase what you're already doing by leveraging revenue to do that. Okay. Radio, aka podcasting. This world is super interesting because you can share your story and it can live forever. It can be evergreen. It can be in spaces and places that people can hear from you years down the road, and it can generate high value long term. If you don't have a compelling story, or if you don't know how to give a call to action, a radio may not be your thing. There's other folks that can coach you on this. I will say this: if you just learn your origin story and learn how to give a call to action as part of a conversation, you should be great on radio. Okay. Bring a lot of high energy. Try for interviews because they'll pull the story out of you, and it is long form content. So try to bring some tips or value to that conversation that the audience will just be compelled about. Television, or aka video, any kind of visual experience. Tell your story, of course. Try to include some body language or some props or visuals that will engage people, even if the sound of their device is not on. They can still see it and go, "Oh, wow, that's interesting." Include your call to action, of course, and try to save these video and audio files. Okay, there's a lot of overlap in video and audio tips here, but don't forget about audio and video experiences. All right. So that was the report method. We're landing the plane here on promotion, then we'll wrap up. Ultimately, when it comes to promotion, we want to see examples. How have you pushed out? Give us a one-pager, your business cards, a link to some of the things that some of the pages that you've put together that allow people to opt in for something, allow people to learn more about something with a clear call to action. Give us some examples of that in our private group, givermarketing.com/group. If you give us some examples of that, that'll be your action assignment for promotion. Okay. And then we'll give you some feedback. Plus, people might want to ask you more about what you do. So I highly recommend doing that. All right. Nurturing, last piece as we start wrapping up here today. And remember, branding, visibility, promotion, and then nurturing. If you do it in that order, you'll see it's almost like it's almost like gold mining. You're cleaning the dirt and you're getting everything out that doesn't need to be there and making sure that the gold is left behind. And the gold is in the follow-up. So this is what we're talking about here. Engage your prospects with continued intentional conversations. Here's the 7 marketing moments I was mentioning earlier. And we'll just do a quick flyover, but 80% of sales or decision meetings, appointments occur after a minimum of 5 trust building interactions. So if you're only interacting with prospects 1 or 2 or maybe 3 times, you're leaving most of your money on the table. You're leaving most of the decisions out in limbo land. They're not, they don't have enough information to decide. There's not enough relational connectedness to decide. There's not enough value that's been demonstrated to decide. So we want to help them make a decision, and it doesn't have to be super fast. It can be, but ultimately you want to stay in front of them for long periods of time and multiple touch points and multiple ways, by the way. So we're going to go through 7 ways or 7 moments that you can connect with your audience. Your introduction is a touch point. Don't sell anything. Try telling a story. Get contact information. In today's world, you just need their first and last name to get most of their contact information. So just get their basic information. A brief email. Send them a quick note. Hey, great connecting. Maybe ask them a question about the conversation you had, or the event you were at, or the space or place that you were connected by. Give them an easy call to action. Hey, would you be open to a quick chat in the next few weeks? These are really, really basic calls to action, but they work. And you don't want to leave conversations out there and end them with a period. You want to end them with a question mark. Okay. Try asking lots of questions. We'll get to that in a minute. Social media posts, connection requests, friend requests, interactions, following others that you want to connect with, make and share content of others. This is a great way to interact with influencers, by the way. Reply to messages. Do the best you can to just be a social person on social media. We do a full training on that. Give something they value. Number 4 is one of my favorites. Find something that maybe is outside the box. We've given like Christmas ornaments in July. We've given gifts and at random times that people don't expect it. We've given introductions, referrals, and recommendations and shout outs online when people aren't expecting it. Information that they asked for and they wish they could have, but maybe it doesn't have directly to do with your business, but it's indirect. This is a great way to say, hey, I'm going to go above and beyond. I'm going to get you some of that information. All right. Invite people somewhere you're already going to be. Put it in the comments, ladies and gentlemen. Invite people somewhere you're already going to be. If you're already going to an event locally or online or some version of both, invite people to that event. You're probably thinking, well, duh, wouldn't I invite my prospects? Yeah, but invite your power partners, your team members, your prospects, your friends, your associates. Invite everybody you can to those events, because the more people in the room, the more value that can be offered if the event is coordinated well. Okay. It could be a small event, more intimate event, or it could be a large event. The point is it's an excuse to have a touch point or an invitation, and people feel special when they're invited places. Okay. If you do it right and don't spam them every other day with like 15 different events, then you're probably good. But the places you're actually going to be, try to invite them to those places. Personal note, snail mail, text messaging, even social media messaging, ping them and just ask questions. Check in with them and give them a clear reason or a value statement of why you'd want to reconnect. Personal notes are the art of personal notes are very underrated. And so we want to bring those back. We want that personal touch to really permeate our campaigns. Phone calls. Ladies and gentlemen, here's a phone call training in 2 minutes or less. Prepare great questions. Give 2 options for next steps, and don't leave long voicemails. Don't leave any voicemails if you can help it. I mean, there's some rare exceptions. If somebody's over a certain age, or there's certain ways that they use their phone to communicate, sure, leave a quick short voicemail. But I've heard it said that if you don't want somebody to call you back, leave them a long voicemail, because that says you're going to be sucking a lot of time just by leaving a long voicemail. And I had somebody recently say, hey, take your voicemail recording, your phone call recording that prepares people for your voicemail, and shorten that even. So let's save people time and not leave long voicemails, not leave long recordings before they leave a voicemail. Let's just be conscious of the fact that we're in an area where voicemails are not the norm. Okay. All right. Last micro assignment. Are you ready? Post your nurturing touch points, maybe 3, 4, or 5 of them in our group, givermarketing.com/group. Get you to the group. Then you can post all of these action assignments. First one is share your story. That's your branding assignment. Visibility assignment is go to givermarketing.com/visibility and then give the assessment, put the results, a screenshot or a link inside of the group. The third one is to branding visibility. Promotion is to post your promotional steps, whether they're 3, 4, 5, 6 steps, maybe 7 steps inside of the group page so we can get you some feedback and give us some examples of those promotional pieces that you use. And we'll give you feedback on those as well. So there's a couple of options there for you on the promotional assignment. And then the last one is your nurturing pieces where this is the steps by which you actually follow up with people and you connect with them in your nurturing and follow-up process. Okay. So ultimately, we want your branding, visibility, promotion, and nurturing examples to end up in our group page so that we can celebrate with you, give you feedback, and rock and roll together. Okay. Give it the speed of trust. Don't try to sell too quickly, ladies and gentlemen. But don't forget, you got to ask for the sale when the fit is established, everything's good, and the trust is there. Okay. So your branding assignments, again, I was trying to go from memory there earlier, but it's your story video, your origin story, your results from your visibility scan or assessment, and then your promotional piece or pieces that you like to use as you're getting the word out. That can be any kind of visual or any kind of page that you use to promote, and then post that nurturing process, all those steps and pieces that you use to follow up with your audience. Okay. Well, that's the Giver Marketing Blueprint, ladies and gentlemen. God bless you guys. And for those who have questions, please feel free to ask those in the Facebook group, which is at givermarketing.com/group. And that should get you to where you need to go to be able to ask questions, make comments. And then, of course, you can reach out to me directly on LinkedIn. If you look up Timothy Morgan, you'll see me smiling and ready to have a conversation with you there. And we look forward to the next time that we can add value to your marketing, communications, and media efforts. God bless you guys. We'll see you soon.